your enjoyment, the music department of Clifton High School proudly presents the show band of the Northeast. Here is your Mustang Marching Band. Conducted by drum major Joe Sakovich, here is our Mustang Medley, a combination of pre-game selections to bring excitement to the fans of football at Clifton School Stadium on any given Friday evening. Here with Maroon and Gray, the Defile, Pre-Game Fight, and the Rouser, your Mustang Marching Band. Now that we have your attention, won't you join us as we honor our great nation with the call to the colors? And we invite you to join in singing the national anthem, conducted tonight by Mr. Frank Romaine, Assistant Director of the Mustang Marching Band. So much for the opening comments. Give a guy a shot with the Army band that he did it to them, he's doing it to us. It's okay. We're going to have fun tonight. The heck with formalities, all right? That opening selection was a tune entitled Triumph that we were originally going to perform as our opener on Thanksgiving Day. But because of time constraints that came about, performing with another band and some other activities that Passaic had planned for halftime, we decided we would make some minor adjustments in our performance, and we changed to something a little different. But we thought it would be appropriate for this evening, because after all, tonight is a celebration of a triumph of another kind. And It's nice to see all you folks here. We welcome you to the return of Sounds of the Stadium and the Thank You Clifton concert. So without a lot of talking now, we're off with another opening, another show. Statement of our opening show way back, about 9-10 weeks ago up at BC. Another opening, another show. Here's another tune from that opener. It's a rock tune of the late 60s, early 70s, somewhere in there. Tune done by The Doors called Light My Fire. Swing tune was an oldie called My Heart Belongs to Daddy. We're going to change pace a little bit now. Probably won't get any softer, although we'd like to. Can you all hear us? Can you hear anything besides drums? No? Yeah? Okay. Must be a drummer's mother. Okay. Your No, she's the one that said, no, that's not it. Yeah. You know, I've been to a number of these things, and through the years, there have been miracles. One year, someone's grandmother was in the audience, and she stood up. Very feeble. She was a very old lady, but very, very generous woman and very effervescent. She stood up and said, I can hear again. It was great. Okay, well, hey, here's the Tennessee Waltz a la Mustang Band style. Thank you. It's been one of our favorites for a couple of years. There just have to be certain times when you play it and others that you don't. Little story. We had to play the Memorial Day Parade last year, you'll recall, down at Allwood, like we always do. But this year there was a special guest. What was his name? Oh, yes, the former Senator Dole. And of course, we all know that he was a Republican. So everybody's psyched, hey, we're going to play for Senator Dole. Hey, whoa, they're up and they're, hey, let's go, let's play Al. I said, fellas, we can't play Al. Why? Why? That's what our good tune. Why can't we play Al? This way? Because he's a Democrat, folks. Well, things have changed, so I guess we can play it again. Actually, around here we do it for one of our shop teachers because his name is Al and he comes floating by. My good friend, Mr. Bornkamp, he says, hey, Bob, you can call me Al. Well, anyhow, you've rested long enough. Oh, yes. What's this next one? the mind. It's a feeble thing. Remember a bunch of years back, maybe 72 or 73, probably 72. I remember because I was a rookie teacher, and sometimes you had to go get a certain item for your automobile, and you may have to wait online. So during your P&C or lunch, which was 20 minutes at the time, you'd sneak out of here and run like crazy, get to a gas station and wait online and hope that you got to the pump by the time so you could be back before the principal missed you. A couple of close calls. Oh well, there was a gas crunch. A couple of years prior to that, there was this great tune by Mason Williams. So we used it in halftime, and the principal liked the fact that it went over very well, and he never found out that I missed the class. Here's classical gas. Probably saying, why are they playing Mr. Touchdown USA? Well, because we found out this year, unfortunately, after our last home game, that this was the 75th anniversary of Clifton High School football, starting way back 1920, whatever. 1, 2, 3, what is it? Quick one. 21. I knew that. I really did. Anyway, that's why we thought we would salute the team and pay a little special to the guys that happened to the warm-up act for the band at halftime. You know what I mean? Yeah, come on, it's okay. Your band parents. Jeez, and crackers. Absolutely. No, it's a total team effort on any given Saturday or Friday night. the guys that are out on the grass for 48 minutes, and these guys that are out on the grass for 12 minutes, and the girls that are on the sideline and out on the track for the entire whatever. These are the best kids in Clifton High School, folks. And they're the ones that bring pride, and they're the ones who bring recognition. And I'll tell you about this bunch later, but it's a total team effort. And this is something that we are very proud of. We've got coaches, be they cheerleading coaches or football coaches and band coaches, that actually get along, which sometimes doesn't happen in other schools when you go and talk to other band directors or football coaches or whatever. So we've got something unique that we thoroughly enjoy here, and we're constantly working with each other. So I think that's, and you see that come across with the kids as well. When the team is up, everybody's up. When the band's up, they're all up. If something happens, you know, everybody's down, dejected. It's not one of those, well, okay, the team lost, so we're going to go to our band festival. We're part of it, and we're all together, and that's the way it should be. So anyway, enough of that philosophical stuff. We'd like to do a tune, Nick. How many of you ever driven through Pennsylvania? And you see those little signs along the road, you know, little words of wisdom, like rough day, say good morning to a close Irma shave. You know what I mean? Or whatever. It's been a long time. You know what I'm talking about. We had this one tune this year that I didn't know that these guys knew that stuff from Pennsylvania. I walked into the band room one day, and up on the wall was, "Your thirst knows." Went to the other wall, and it says, "Drink your thirst. Play, O Brummel." Then I looked across the back. I walked in one other day. Across the back of the band room in these big letters, "Bo Brummel." Right. I turned around to see what time it was on the clock. Bo Brummel. I went to my desk, picked up my pencil. Stapled on my pencil was Bo Brummel. Do you even know who the heck this guy Bo Brummel was? Well, there was a real person. He was one of those courtier kind of guys in the old days, in old whatever, kind of a dandy. Friend of the king, you know, they used to go out party together and all that stuff. But anyway, it's a good swing tune that we found a couple of years ago. The seniors then didn't like it, but these guys who were not seniors then decided they'd liked it. And somehow or other, we've resurrected Bo Brummel. Don't mess it up. Got that, Chuck? Okay. This one's for Chuck. clap during the deceptive cadence. Gotcha. Here's a George M. Cohan tune. It was from our patriotic little opener way back at Vets Day, called Yankee Doodle Dandy. Well, we just simply like to call it the Yankee Dude. And every band person has played it 100,000 times during his career or her career. But this year, it was great to be up here and doing it with another group. And I found something out about the Army Band. They're just like these guys. They don't follow the conductor. The Army is, and they don't move. We learned it this way, well, that's the way it's going to be. They go, and that's the way it's going to be. Slow down. I can't. We got to get through it. Got 16th notes. They got to be played fast. Oh, well, but they're getting there. That's the important thing. And this is where they learn, so that from here, they end up in the Army Band, or something like it, or be it a community band, or college band, or whatever. Speaking of college bands, hey, I'm going to toot our horn. Has anybody here ever watched the Rose Bowl? Come on. Come on, you dads. I know you're watching the Rose Bowl. Just because Ma's next to you can, you know. Well, hey, did you know that this year, second time in, well, at least 10 years, that Clifton High School is going to be represented at the Rose Bowl. Because we have someone on both sides of the field. 3 with Arizona State and 1 at Ohio State. I'm proud as heck of those guys. And you can see what this training is doing to our guys. And it's not the first bowl game that a Clifton kid's been at. A couple years ago, it was Michigan State and Arizona State on both sides. One year there was someone at Michigan playing on one side then because it was Southern Cal. Michigan beat them. And then we've had, we've got another guy going to another bowl game this year because he's at the University of Iowa. And I don't know if Syracuse is going anyplace, but we've got somebody up there. And well, we've had representatives from Penn State. They going any place this year? They must be going. I haven't had a chance to look at the papers of late, but we've got somebody there going to a bowl. This band is loaded with bowl people. I'm proud as hell of them people. Should have said that. I'm proud as all get out of those people. But anyway, that's why we're proud. This is why we're proud. You're why we're proud. And we're going to rest our chops a minute, but while we're doing that, I get to talk. I know he's going to talk. I need my volunteers. First, we're going to give you an evolution. See these suits? You're the reason. You folks that are here tonight have that special, you're the reason. And we thank you ever so much. We can't say enough to thank you. Well, we're going to delve into a little history first. Mr. Ding Dong, come on in. Warm in these lights. He probably didn't eat supper. Oh well, he'll be okay. This is the the second of the overlay uniform. Years ago, as the band had kind of a Joe military suit, and then they had one. We don't have these samples left because they were long gone. But way back, they had a cape, an overseas cap, a very simple but very nice uniform with a little bucking horse on the front. Then we went a West Point style suit, red pants with a gray jacket, tight collar, thingy down the front, much like what the cadets at West Point wear every now and again. And then from there we went to this funny colored maroon and silver thing that some of us, there are a few of you out there I know, really love that with this stupid silver bib on it with a maroon C and a belt and a stovepipe hat with this gray bird on it and white bucks. And then all of a sudden it was determined, these suits got to go, we got to get something a little more modern, a little something else. And they went to a basic black suit with a black busby and a very heavy overlay that had a white front made out of heavy vinyl, and it had a bucking horse on it. And then it had a short cape. Stand up. Just, like that. Okay? Said that. Just like that. And we said, well, we got to make some changes. We got to lighten it up. So a lot of energy went into designing this particular suit. Front, major change on the back, the long overlay. People went, ugh, we don't like that. We had the short cape. Mustangs, all that stuff. Okay, go in your pocket. And this suit had a dual purpose. Marching band. Voila! Tux band! You don't wear a hat when you're in your tuxedo, you know. And we went with this concept for a while. It was kind of drab and dreary, and then they wore out. So we ended up with another committee of kids, and okay, very nice. And we came out with the next suit. People were like, we need more color, we need more pop, we need more fire, we need more whatever. So we came out with this. Changed the front a little bit. Went back to the old cape because that was cooler. But when we went back, people said, well, a short cape. But it kind of caught in the breeze. And we changed the old chapeau. No more busby. People said, oh, where am I going to put my lunch? I can't get my hair in this thing. Well, anyway, we went to that. And then, of course, from there, we said, what are we going to do? So, pop that. That's okay. Take the overlay off. And basically, we had another double concept for our concert bands and all that. You got it? Okay. We just had basically the old simple coat of the 50s. Okay. Oh, you pinned it? Stuff you can dress them up, you just can't take them anyplace. Okay. It's on the button. It's a button. Oh, yeah. Take a chill, I'll get it. There you go. And there's another one. Okay. And we had this thing, kind of looked like a bag on them, you know? But this is what the old original, except down the front was a red stripe on the gray coat and all that. And we did dress it up with a white belt. And upperclassmen started to get citation cords. Okay, so if you were to look at her a couple years ago and say, oh, well, that's a freshman, because she's just got a plain coat. Of course, imagine the white belt. Okay, but we had some other classy groups, like our wind ensemble, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Where's our wind ensemble? Come on now. So we went with this coat, that overlay, that hat, and we came out with this short fancy tux thing, because we started going to Army band concerts and saw, hey, those guys wear those dress short capes, and you know, and when we get tired with band, we could always turn around and say, ship them out as a waiter. You know? So we have, open it up so you can see. We have the red cummerbund and the sharp red tie, and the jazz guys used to wear that, and the wind ensemble guys, you know, and they were just spiffy as all get out. Well, these we haven't gotten rid of, because we'll be able to use these short coats for various other activities. Okay, like probably maybe the guys in wind ensemble, or some of our smaller groups that go out, you know, the chamber ensembles will probably perform. Still with that, and of course, the new pants. Of course, we wouldn't wear spats when we were in concert in formal attire. It was just the short and whatnot. Okay? Which leads us to what we have now. A happy marriage of the red with a colorful sash, the short cape stayed, and of course we have the black and white hat with the red plume. Now if we were to pop these overlays, overlayless persons, come on now, you'll see what we will look like at various other points. Okay? Here we have Mike. Take your horn away. He's the guy that messed up before. I know. Actually, you want to know a little secret? And we're agreeing. It wasn't him. They stopped. I didn't. He kept going with me. He's doing this right. Anyway, you've got the white belt, dressed it up a little bit. The black tie, little extra whatever. And you could tell by looking here that Mike is a senior because he got the citation cord with the double hoop-de-doo here and the dangling knot. What we used to do with these, we used to wear a gray one. We'd go up to the guy, you know, and they'd, hey, Bill, how you doing? Stick it in his ear. You know, that was in the dark ages when we did stupid things. You know, kids don't do that anymore, I'm sure. Or either that or we'd go and we'd kind of, hello, like, bus boy, you know. Anyway, freshmen would not have this on the arm. It's just a plain red coat with the belt. It looks, gotta admit, it looks an awful lot better. Turn around too so they can see the back side. Okay, so there's a little, look at those muscles, you know? There you go. Okay, a sophomore would have a single cord or a single braid. A junior has the single braid, a single cord, and then of course the dangling double cord and the braid. So that you'll be able to tell who's who in the band. Now, of course, we needed a few other little areas of whatever. Come on out. So we've, Mikey here. For different groups like brass band, all we've had is the same coat without the overlay, ceremonial band or whatever we call it. And we've got the added cross buckle. He needs to tighten that. That one would fit me for crying out. You don't have to do it now, it's okay. But we have the added look here of an extremely versatile uniform that we hope to get a lot of good years of service out of, and from you. Thank you. We'll continue the program with our director. Joe Sakovich and the Mustang Majorettes. This first feature tune comes from our Beach Boys show, and it was one I get around. Here's Kokomo. For some of you who may be remembering your youth, you know, some of these tunes that bring things back, here's a special ditty for all you mamas and papas, for all of you crazy dance freaks, you know. It's called California Rockin'. See if you remember any of these ditties. Right now we're going to feature three of our girls, our three seniors. As we do every year, we like to give our seniors, our sergeants, a final farewell and give them something to spin about. And we did this year at Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, one of them was down with the flu, sick, pretty sick, and didn't make it to Thanksgiving in front of all those wonderful folks. So we decided that we'd do it again so she'd have the opportunity and share the spotlight with her other two senior partners in crime here. So meet Kathleen, Corinne, and Lisa, our twirling seniors, in a tune called December 1963. You know that. Oh, what a night. Kathleen, Corinne, and Lisa. A few years ago, while I was ordering music, we get all these records and tapes and now CDs to listen to and whatnot. I was listening through this record and I said, hey, boy, that sounds like a great chart. So I looked on I knew the name of it, but I just want to see who the arranger was and all that stuff. And on the jacket of the record said, here's a great hot tune you better buy and put in your library. Guaranteed to make your majorettes sweat. I said on the moment, sold! And I think it does. It's a lively little ditty. They like it, we think you'll like it. It's called Hush! Mustang Majorettes, and Joe, just turn around. Joe Sekovich. I know that by now you've got it figured out that there's something different up here. And the word that I said before, drum major, and the Mustang Major X. Joe is the second drum major of the Mustang Band. The first one since, well, a long time ago. But I do know that there is someone here who knows who that first one was, not to steal any smoke from Joe, but I know tonight that the first drum majorette of the Mustang Band is here, and I'd like her to stand up. Oh, Mrs. Jota. You didn't know that one was coming, did you? Way back, about 8 years ago, when we celebrated our 50th anniversary, and we put out some feelers to, hey, we want to have people come to our big birthday party. We found out about this very charming lady, and ever since we've been progressing and becoming closer friends all the time. I knew her husband for a long time. She used to be around here at school. Everybody knew him as the public safety officer. But we had, well, it was a great time, a great thing. And just at Vets Day, she filled me in on the fact that, when was it, about 1940, somewhere in there? 42, yeah, somewhere back there. There was a male drum major, and so modern day band, modern day being from when we really got on the map, which I guess would have to be 1959, until now, he's the first one. So, Joe Sutherland. For a tune that we've used a couple times through the years, and every time we played it a little bit differently, but we've always enjoyed it. And it has a couple other connotations if you're around Clifton High School. And actually, I think it's kind of a dream. And sometimes dreams can come true here in our land of make-believe. talk part of the program, but I'm talked out. So I'm going to introduce to you Mr. Larry Kruer, the chairman of the Band Parents Committee. That's him. Let me say hi to Larry. And I'm going to let him talk a while. Need a mic, huh? You? Good help.
Good evening. It's a great honor to be here tonight. They've always sounded like it, but don't they look like the show band of the Norfolk? Certainly the pride of the community, the pride of the band committee. We've been given special honor this evening by various forms of government in terms of their recognition of this organization. And we have with us a few members of various forms of government. Is Mr. Jim Smith here in the audience? Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith is here representing the Clifton Board of Education. Actually, what we're going to do tonight, and I'm going to have Mr. Smith just come and just stand for a moment next to me, is we are given an honor tonight for the band, recorded in the State Senate of New Jersey, a proclamation by Senator Joseph Bubba that gave the band credit for what it has done, what it is doing, and what it will be doing in the future. There are many whereases, as most proclamations, but in essence, it commends the band for its fine organizational effort, its musicianship, its efforts in raising the money that most of you helped give. It's a very nice proclamation, and the band is given a lot of credit. But we're going to take a little special time right now to also recognize the fact that this band has had many great leaders. Muscati, Kay, and now Morgan. Now, I've been in education myself for 29 years, known a lot of music teachers. I haven't known one band director who's gone 25 years in this position. So we'd like to take a few minutes right now and honor Mr. Robert Morgan for his 25 years of service and excellence for the Clifton Mustang Band. Now, Mr. Morgan is looking at me off stage. He's shooting me that basic look. Now, he said the other night to one of our, Mr. Ron Krooksma, our first vice chairperson, don't do anything about my 25th. But he said that to Ron. He didn't say that to me. So I'm given the privilege to be able to do this. And to start just briefly for us this evening, we have Mr. Smith, representing the Board of Education.
Mr. Morgan, you can't hide from me. We'll eventually find you. Payday. First of all, on behalf of the Board of Education, ladies and gentlemen of the Clifton High School Mustang Band, this board is very happy and very proud of each and every one of you for everything that you've done and will do throughout the year and for your performance tonight. And we'd just like to express that appreciation and thanks. And let's give them another round of applause for their performance. This evening, I tried to find some information or find some dirt, so should we say, about Mr. Morgan. But I was advised that I better not do that. There wasn't a lot of dirt anyway, so don't worry about it. behalf of the board, President Stephen Atala, all board members, Superintendent of Schools, Mr. William Lease, Mr. Morgan, we congratulate you tonight on your dedication and devotion to the Clifton school system and to the students you have taught for the last 25 years. Your commitment to the students of the District of Clifton is evident not only in your classroom, not only on the field or at an event, but is so clearly evident here tonight by the tremendous performance your students have displayed. I know that you are very proud of each of them, and I know that they are very proud of you and your accomplishments over the past 25 years. Mr. Morgan, as a graduate of Clifton High School of the class of 1966, he said it first. You have journeyed a road that has given you many rewards and many accomplishments, and I know that I share with others with our sincere thanks for all that you have done. Reflecting upon some of those accomplishments for a moment, such as the forming of the first authentic high school brass band, encouraging our students to keep high academic standards, and encouraging them to further their education as well as their music careers. Your invitations to perform in London, in Hawaii, Disneyland, and Disney World, the experience and honor you have performed at the 15th inauguration of the American president in Washington, D.C., and I hear maybe another invitation has come our way. All these, Mr. Morgan, are a few of your accomplishments, but your students, past and present, are your true treasures, the true benefactors of your experience and your knowledge. Mr. Morgan, you will be formally honored by the Board of Education, along with all of your colleagues who are celebrating their 25th anniversaries in the spring at your annual dinner held in your honor by the Teachers Association. A formal resolution in your name will be introduced, signed by the Board of Education, and made official at that time to say thank you for 25 years of dedication. On behalf of the entire Board of Education, we congratulate you and say thanks. And we look forward to doing this again another 25 years from now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stephan. Is Mayor Anzaldi here?
Yes.
Okay, we have the Honorable Mayor James Anzaldi.
Bob, I remember when. We both had more hair. He said he still does. You know, Bob Morgan and I go back many, many years. We're both Clifton kids, and I guess they're pretty good. And for many, many years, as many of you know, one of the biggest joys of the year are around Christmas time. And Bob and members of the band have always been there to help celebrate on the front lawn of City Hall. Sometimes we even forget them and tell them like a week before, Bob, this is the date. It always works out. And actually, Bob, there's a little bit of history because the one and only time that I ever went to speak before the Municipal Council of Clifton, and that was for Bob Morgan. And I hope it's the only time I'll ever have to go back to speak to City Council in my career or my life. But I think it's really a wonderful thing for all these people out here to be here tonight. Because just a few months ago, some of us stood on this stage and we had a $100,000 goal to raise for uniforms. And there were some of the naysayers in Clifton said that it couldn't be done. But you, the people in this audience, did it. And you did it quickly and generously. And look what we have tonight, beautiful uniforms. But more importantly, I think tonight, as we salute Bob, is the fact that for 25 years, Bob, you have led these kids, generation after generation. And every place they've gone, no matter where they've gone, they have been superb ambassadors of the city of Clifton. And each and every one of you in this audience tonight can be very, very proud of young people like this that go throughout this country and throughout the world, actually, in some of their trips, and have represented us as Cliftonites. And we can be a very, very proud community for that. But Bob, you had a lot to do with that. It was your leadership and your dedication to this band that has made it such a special band. And they certainly are the band of the world. And we could be very proud of them. But on behalf of all of us on the City Council, maybe not even only this City Council, but many City Councils over these 25 years of your service, I'd like to make this presentation to you, which has the whereases too, and I won't read them all, but I will read two parts of it. Whereas he is a 1966 graduate of Clifton High, and both he and his wife, Michelle had a lot to do with his leadership stuff. Right, Michelle? Where are you? Boasting two sons, Daniel and Matthew, who currently participate in the Mustang Band. And one interesting thing we did find out, Bob, you actually were at Passaic for a little while before you came to Clifton. 6 months. That was the longest 6 months of your life? Well, it was good. It was good. Well, we're glad we brought you here, back home. But I think probably the most important part of this resolution says, we publicly recognize and acknowledge the fine work of an outstanding educator and musical director. And for me, a great guy.
Thank you, Mayor Azadi. Senator Bubba couldn't be with us tonight. And again, there are many whereases. I would just like to read a few things written into the state records, state of New Jersey. Whereas inspired by the capable guidance of Director Robert Morgan, the Clifton High School Mustang Marching Band continues to perform with praiseworthy determination and spirit. And whereas his exemplary devotion of talents and efforts to encouraging excellence has earned for Director Robert Morgan of the Clifton High School Mustang Marching Band the pride and admiration of the school, the community, and the state of New Jersey. Now therefore be it resolved by the state of New Jersey that this House hereby honors Director Robert Morgan of the Clifton High School Mustang Marching Band, commends his outstanding leadership and steadfast commitment, and expresses sincere best wishes for his continued success in all future endeavors. Senator Bubba, State of New Jersey. And on the seal of the United States Congress, one of Clifton's own, Congressman Martini, Dear Bob, I will read it all. You have maintained and nurtured a successful civic organization truly dedicated to the service and the betterment of Clifton students and their families. Your reputation of giving generously of your time, energy, and resources in order to foster goodwill and benevolence throughout our community has been an example of true public service. Indeed, your efforts on behalf of Clifton schools over the last 25 years reminds us that a community is most profoundly changed not by huge impersonal institutions, but by people determined to make a positive difference. Give the world the best you have, and the best will always come back to you. Congratulations for a job well done. Bill Martini, Member of Congress. Bob and I have become friends over the last few years. Our kids were Little League together. We did a little coaching together and found we had certain things in common, the way we felt about things. Then we found out that we both played a little golf. Bob plays a little golf. Somebody suggested that maybe an appropriate gift would be a few dozen golf balls, but I said it'd be gone too soon. Have to give him something a little more long-lasting. So a freshman parent said, how about a watch so he can be up in the field and get them down on time? But I said, you'll learn, you'll learn. Finally, we have a senior who drives back and forth, and it was worth all the wait. It's been a lot of years. Hundreds and hundreds of students. Hundreds and hundreds of band parents. And we all feel the same way. He's had his barbs over the years. You people have tossed a few, maybe pieces of coal at him. But we thought we'd toss to him a little piece of Waterford crystal. This is from the band committee to Robert Morgan in recognition of 25 wonderful years. Would Mrs. Michelle Morgan please come to the stage? And Mrs. Debbie Lapchuk, the treasurer of the Clifton Band Association, I'm sorry, secretary. As most of you know, Mrs. Morgan has collaborated with Bob in more than one way, but as a fine individual helping the band efforts. And we want to she's not feeling that well this evening, so we'll get her back to her seat quickly. But we have just a small token of recognition for Michelle also. Michelle. The thing is, Mr. Morgan has given a lot of love to the band, and a lot of people want to give a lot of love back to him. So Joe, how about it?